There we go.
Good? Okay. All right, so I'm Alyssa Amanda, and I'm going to be talking about hookah versus smoking cigarettes. Just my major claim in this is smoking hookah is an overall healthier choice compared to smoking cigarettes. To go over a few terms before I start, I will mention the ADHA, which is the American Dental Hygienists Association. I will also mention shisha, which is a combination of tobacco, a sweetener, and a fruit, which is the tobacco that's put in the hookah to smoke. And then I will also mention hookah, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it consists of 4 parts: a base, a bowl, a pipe, and a hose. It comes in various sizes and colors to appeal to whatever kind of person you are. So my first claim against, or for my major claim, is smoking hookah is safer for your overall hygiene in comparison to cigarette smoking. The biggest positive effect of this is that hookah smoking decreases tea staining and or bad breath, as cigarettes do. That is only because of a difference in the way shisha is manufactured compared to the way that cigarettes are manufactured. Also, there's no arguing that it has an overall fresher smell than cigarette smoke. You don't like to smell like an ashtray after smoking cigarettes, so you smoke hookah, and the shisha, like I said, is a combination of sweetener and fruit, and it just creates a sweet and pleasing sensation and smell. Dentistry IQ reports in one of their online articles that smoking hookah is better for your oral health due to differences in the way hookah tobacco is manufactured. It does not stain the teeth like cigarette smoke does, and this makes for a more sensible alternative to cigarettes for those who are aiming for a whiter smile. My secondary claim is smoking hookah is more socially accepted than cigarette smoking. Hookah smoking has specific restaurants, lounges, I'm sure you guys have all heard of them, but they are specifically for smoking hookah and eating, both of those put together. They promote smoking hookah, not discourage it as with cigarettes. You go to some restaurants and they have, smoking, you have to smoke so far away from the building, all of that stuff. Hookah can also be seen as an activity that brings people together, forcing them to be more social. As a result of those lounges and restaurants, but Kelly Swanson, an active leader in the ADHA who provides healthcare education through her company, says that hookah use is associated with relaxation and a peaceful social setting. One is not in a hurry when smoking the hookah, as part of the ritual is passing the pipe to others, sharing, taking turns, and enjoying just the camaraderie. My third secondary claim is smoking hookah is less harmful than cigarette smoking because it is not as easily accessible as cigarettes are. Sounds a little confusing, but I'll explain. It is more costly to smoke hookah than cigarettes, but that leads to harder access, less people do it, which means there's a smaller chance of addiction as with cigarettes. You can walk down the street, go to your liquor store, it could be a 24-hour liquor store. You can get a pack of cigarettes for $3, $4. Hookah's not that cheap. You have to buy the hookah. You have to invest in the tobacco. You have to invest in the coals to heat the hookah. You have to put the water in. It just takes a lot more time. It takes more effort to put together to smoke hookah as opposed to cigarettes being a quick and easy fix. It's not done as often, and the long-term effects aren't part of as in with cigarettes, the long-term effects don't affect you as much as hookah because it's just not done as often. According to a quote from the shisha.com, smoking shisha is nothing like smoking a cigarette. Cigarettes are for nervous people, competitive people, and people on the run, so to say. When you smoke shisha, you have time to think, it teaches you patience and tolerance, and gives you an appreciation of just good company. Shisha smokers have a much more balanced approach to life than cigarette smokers. So now that we've talked about hookah, it's safer for your overall hygiene, your smell, and your white teeth. It being more socially accepted, being in a social atmosphere, and less harmful because of its lack of accessibility. You can't go down the street to get it. You have to invest a little bit more. In conclusion, to answer the question of hookah being a harmless high or a harmful habit, I think the answer is clear, that it's just another harmless high. That's it.
Time?
4:36.
All right, well, the way the proposition is phrased, it makes a simple comparison, but at the end of the speech you're suggesting that they aren't really comparable, so why is this an issue? What's controversial about it? If you're suggesting that hookah could be a replacement for cigarette smoking, that would be one thing, but that's not what you're suggesting. If you're suggesting that the two things, one is safer than the other, I'm not exactly sure there's a lot of controversy on that. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, I don't know. But even if it's true, if they are not being used as substitutes for each other, why is that comparison useful? It's like saying, roller skating is safer than bicycle riding. Okay, well, what does that mean? What inference are we supposed to draw from that? And I think that's a little bit problematic, that we're not getting to the grit of the controversy on this issue. At the end, you do suggest that there is some criticism of maybe hookah, and maybe that's where the controversy should be, that the argument has been made that hookah is as bad or it's as dangerous for you as cigarette smoking, and that's not the case. Okay, then I think you've got a clearer reason for making the argument and using the comparison. But until you've told us that that's in fact something that's going on here, it just sounds like we're comparing apples and oranges. Okay, well, apples have 15% vitamin C and oranges only have 10% vitamin C. Well, all right, well, why are we making this comparison? That's the thing that I don't quite understand. I think you needed to lay out the structure more at the beginning of the speech and didn't do that. Now, I did think that you had some good testimony evidence in the speech. I thought you did a nice job talking to the audience. Like I said, your proposition at the beginning was clear. What's problematic is just that there's not a lot of controversy on that. There's not really any statistical data in here, and like I said, a lot of the things in all of your points seem to suggest that the two concepts are not really comparable. So if they're not comparable, why is the relative safety of one or the other meaningful? And that's, to me, goes back to the same issue that I was talking about before. Thank you.